Malaysian Polytechnic Architecture Student Readiness Towards Online Learning. Since the global pandemic of COVID-19, significant impact have been felt around the world in terms of environment, education, and even our society life. This sudden change in the educational system from two-way communication between educator and student to an entirely e-learning system may result in unintended consequences. Malaysia is lagging behind Western countries and Singapore in terms of e-learning growth. Teacher and student readiness of e-learning acceptance are still in the early stages. The role of student readiness toward e-learning was investigated using Technology Acceptance Model (TAM). This study aims to explore student readiness to accept online learning, investigated using the Technology Acceptance Model (TAM). E-learning. E-learning was defined as a learning system that is focused on formalized instruction but use electronic tools focused on the use of computer and internet. E-learning refers to the use of information and communication technology to promote access to online learning and teaching tools. The Malaysia Education Development Plan 2015 to 2025 has 10 search including global online learning. 5 patterns in Malaysian e-learning. First one, e-learning policy. Second one, e-learning governance. Third one, e-learning management system or LMS. Fourth, e-learning training. And the final one, e-learning integration into teaching and learning. The COVID-19 crisis gives higher education institutions in Malaysia an opportunity to rebuild the education system and relook into course learning outcome. Technology acceptance model was applied for this study. This model have four main components. The first component is perceived ease of use, the degree to which a person believes that using a particular system would be easy. The second one, perceived usefulness, the degree to which a person believes that using a particular system would enhance job performance. The third one, behavioral intention to use, the stage at which a person has developed a deliberate intention to perform or not perform future behavior. And the final one, actual system use, the end point where people use the technology. There are two external variables for this study, which are e-learning factor and readiness factor. E-learning factor consists learners, teacher, and information technology. Learner. Important to recognize learner characteristics such as attitude, motivation, confidence, and trust. Teacher. 4 key characteristics of teacher are used in this study based on previous research to evaluate this aspect, including motivation, attitude, training, and teaching style. Next one, information technology. Information technology has reshaped the process of acquisition, communication, and distribution of knowledge. The second external variable is readiness factor, which consists technical factor, organization factor, and social factor. Technical factor, which are hardware, software, content, internet access, bandwidth, and school space. Organization, experts, organizational rules, organizational culture, and management permanence. Social, society conception of e-learning, government governmental rules, and administrative instruction. Research model and hypothesis. This research model is a combination of external variable and time model. For the hypothesis, Hypothesis 1, e-learning factor have a direct positive significance to perceived ease of use. Hypothesis 2, e-learning factor have a direct positive significance to perceived usefulness. Hypothesis 3, readiness factor have a direct positive significance to perceived ease of use or PEU. Hypothesis 4, readiness factor have direct positive significance to perceived usefulness. Hypothesis 5, perceived ease of use or PEU have direct positive significance to behavioral intention to use. Hypothesis 6, perceived ease of use PEU have direct positive significance on perceived usefulness. And final hypothesis, Hypothesis 7, perceived usefulness will have a significant positive effect on behavioral intention to use. The data collection. A questionnaire from earlier research on this subject was adapted to this analysis. Part 1 reported gender and age-related demographic information. Part 2 gathered information on the variable listed above on a 5-point Likert scale. The invitation were made with a short introduction, access to the Google Form web survey. The link of the questionnaire were sent by Telegram. The data analysis. The IBM SPSS was used to process the data. An inferential statistic was used to determine the relationship among the variables. A linear regression was used to analyze the study hypothesis and determine the effect of student readiness in accepting online learning in the current situation. Participants for this study are Diploma Architecture student from Polytechnic Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah, student from semester 1 until semester 6. This table shows the number of students from semester 1 to semester 6. The total population is 150. Based on Fitchie and Morgan, the population 150 should have 108 samples. This is the data of demographic profile. There are 47 male and 61 female. The age of respondent is majority between 19 years old to 21 years old. And the majority of them got CGPA between 2.5 to 3.5. Measurement model. The Cromba alpha reliability value above 0.6 is measured for validity test. Table 3 shows the value of Cromba alpha value for all constructs. From this table, we can see all the value is above 0.6, which means all valid. Table 4 shows correlation between variables. All correlation between variables are significant positive. The correlation between readiness factor and perceived usefulness is the weak positive relationship. The strong positive significant correlation is between perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness. Hypothesis testing figure. Table 5. Show result of hypothesis testing. The correlation between the e-learning factor and perceived ease of use is a strong positive relationship, and the hypothesis retained. The hypothesis is retained because relationship between e-learning factor and perceived usefulness show a strong positive relationship. The relationship between readiness factor and perceived ease of use is statistically significant but have a weak positive relationship. The results show a correlation between readiness factor and perceived usefulness was statistically significant and have a weak positive relationship. Hypothesis 5 show a correlation between perceived ease of use and behavioral intention was statistically significant and has a strong positive relationship. The results show a correlation between perceived ease of use and perceived usefulness was statistically significant and has a strong positive relationship. The results show a correlation between perceived usefulness and the behavioral intention was statistically significant and has a strong positive relationship. For the conclusion, the primary contribution of this research paper is to examine the readiness of students towards implementation of online learning in Polytechnic. The Polytechnic education system works hard to ensure that students can receive the best education even though the COVID pandemic is still critical. Therefore, it is important to ensure that students are able and ready to receive online learning at this time so that the education system can continue as well as possible. This research targets architecture students willing to use online learning method to replace their existing learning method. The most significant finding of this study is students are well aware and ready to perform online learning. That's all. Thank you.